Going to run through with you just to remind you. Okay, so at Analytical, we said we basically have three things. Nee? Ons het gesê, jy werk definitief met afstand, middelpunt, gradient. Now, whenever I get stuck, that is the three things that I quickly run through. Have I got enough to do distance? Have I got enough to do midpoint? Or have I got enough to do gradient? Because that's usually what you use to get to the answer. Jy het nou gesien by die eerste paar vragies wat jy gedoen het, dis baie keer so 'n bietjie van 'n ompad, nee? Maar jy moet net mooi logies gaan dink. Sien dit in konteks. Okay. So, is it necessary for me to go through these three formulas with you guys? Nee? Just remember at distance en as dit by enige formule kom, onthou, as jy nie jou formule reg het nie, onmiddellik 0. Nee? They write VF, WF for wrong formula. En dan dis dit. Dan gee hulle vir jou 0 eindeksamen. Nee? Alright, so please remember that you keep or that you study the formulas. Remember, end of the year you get them. That's on the formula sheet, but still. Okay, kyk net gou by gradient. Simple mistake a lot of kids sometimes make is they switch these two around. Remember, at the top we want the difference in y and at the bottom difference in x. Dit klink nou vir jou baie simpel, maar dit is wragtig baie keer ruil kinders dit om. Nee, stres doen snaakse goed aan 'n mens. Okay, when we talk about difference, we know we must subtract. Nee, so subtract the two y values and at the bottom subtract the two x values. Okay, right now, the next thing that I talk about there is the inclination angle. Nou daar sê ek vir jou die inklinasiehoek, dis die hoek wat 'n lyn met die positiewe x-as maak. So, if that is my x-axis, nee? Ag, x and y-axis. Okay, and I give you, let's make it easy, this line. Then, my inclination angle will be the angle between the x-axis and that line, but it actually forms two. There's one and here's one. Nee. So you'll see in the wording, en die bewoording sê hulle spesifiek vir jou, dis die hoek wat 'n lyn met die positiewe x-as maak. So between these two, nee, forget about that picture because here you can't make that, jy gaan nie mooi kan sien wat se kant is positief en negatief nie, nee. But think of the x-axis. If I go towards the, nou moet ek omdraai, towards the right, I'm working with positive values, right? If I go towards the left, as ek links gaan, dat ek mos negatiewe waardes. Nee, so, dit is hoekom ek sou sê dat die positiewe kant gaan wees aan die regterkant, so that angle. Okay, so the inclination angle here will be that one. You guys good? Okay. As ek vir julle dit gee, kom ons maak hom nou soms so. Dan gaan my inklinasiehoek wees, take the x-axis on the right-hand side, move towards that line, met ander woorde, hierdie stukkie. Do you guys get it? Okay, dan sê hulle ook daar vir my, tan theta is equal to the gradient of AB. Met ander woorde, as ek daai hoekie wil kry, kan ek gaan sê tan van daai hoekie will be equal to the gradient of that line. Do you guys understand? Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm right there, but I think Mrs. Fonari said last year, whatever the angle is at, it will always be on the right hand side.
It is, yeah. Yeah.
So whatever the line is facing, so if it's like this way, then you're facing like this, it will always be on that side.
Ja, dis kom ek nou vir jou gesê het, hoe jy kan onthou, as jy kyk die x-as, nee? The right hand side is always positive, left hand side is where you go towards your negative angle. So from the right hand side, go up until where you find that line, and that angle will form the angle. So kyk gou, van my x-as af, na die hoek. Nie van die linkerkant nie. Hier ook van die x-as af, na die lyn. You guys get that? Any questions there? Okay. En almal is fine met tan van daai hoekie gaan gelyk wees aan die gradient, nee? Because usually we have the gradient and then they want you to work out the angle. Okay. Goed. Then collinear. nee? Collinear basically means that all those points are on the same line, nee? En omdat hulle op dieselfde lyn lê, beteken dit die gradiënt gaan dieselfde wees vir almal van hulle. Nee. Let's just look at the wording on that page. It says collinear, saamlynig. Die gradiënt van 1 is gelyk aan die gradiënt van 2. Met 'n gegewe punt of gradient of AP is equal to the gradient of PB. Okay, so, kom ek wys gou vir jou, nee. Daar's my X en my Y. And then I give you this line. Okay, dan sê ek vir jou, daar's A. Okay, wat gebruik hulle nog? A, B, P. Okay, so you can see that they are all on the same line, right? So the gradient of that line, doesn't matter which point I choose on that line, die gradient gaan mos dieselfde wees, nee. Dit is hoekom hulle vir jou sê, die gradient van AP gaan dieselfde wees as die gradient van BP. And it would also be the same as the gradient wat ons nog hier, A, B, nee? Ja. Ja. So the gradient for either one of those, hulle gaan dieselfde wees. Nee. Okay? But they don't give it to you, hulle wys dit nie vir jou op die prentjie nie. Hulle gebruik gewoonlik net daai woordjie, they just say that they are collinear, so they don't indicate it. Nee, so dan moet jy dadelik weet, hulle lê op dieselfde lyntjie. Alright. So, any questions there? Goed, done. I'm now on that second page. It says that if two lines are parallel. So, hier's my twee parallelle lyntjies. Wel. Ekskuus, nou het ek daai driehoekie se lyn uitgevee. Okay, so as daai twee lyntjies parallel is, né? If these two lines are parallel, and this, people, you were taught in grade 9 already, né? The gradient of those two lines will be exactly the same. So let me call this AB and CD. So I can say that the gradient of AB will be the same as the gradient of CD. No. You guys good? Right, now, over here I've got A, B, C, D again. Okay. As ek vir jou sê, hierdie twee lyne sny mekaar loodreg. Nee, if they cut perpendicular, it means that the gradient of AB multiplied with the gradient of CD will always give me minus 1. Okay. Or other way around, jy het net die gradiënt van die enetjie en hulle sê vir jou dat hierdie twee lyne sny mekaar loodreg, so dan moet ek gaan uitwerk wat my tweede gradiënt is, nee. Nou, al wat ons doen, all we do to work that out, let's say the gradient of the one was 3/4, nee? Then all I remember is, I've got this was a positive, nee? So to get the second gradient, I know the sign must change, so it must be negative. Nee? And then these two must just swap around. So 4/3. Nee. Kom ons sê dit was gewees 2. Let's say the gradient was -2. Kom. Then you must remember that, okay, first things first, sign must change. So this one will be a positive gradient. Ons hoef mos nie die plus te skryf nie, ek verduidelik nou net. And then here we said we also got to swap it around, but there's nothing at the bottom. So you've got to see it as to have a 1. Nee? So as hy dan swap, dan beteken dit hy gaan wees 'n half. Nee? Any questions there? Alright, goed, dan. Hierdie volgende 3 bullets, nee? Dit was my snaaks, want daar was dadelik 'n vraag gewees daaroor. Nee? Julle vergeet dit gewoonlik. So, those 3 is also just wording that they use, and then from there they assume you will know the rest. Nee? So maak seker dat jy daai driekies ken. Nou die eerste een is 'n hoogtelyn in altitude, nee? Nou hulle sê daar 'n hoogtelyn is altyd loodreg op die basis van 'n driehoek. Nou, remember the other day when we were doing those 3D sums, nee? Toe het ons gesê, as ek die hoogte van 'n gebou meet, what would the angle always be between that wall and the floor? 90, nee. Ons kan nie gaan meet hoe hoog iets is as daai paal skeef staan nie. Nee? So we want a 90 degrees. So that's how I remember it. But it's the Afrikaans wording. It says it nice. Hoogtelyn. Nee. Okay, so onthou dat as jy 'n hoogtelyn het, dan gaan hy altyd daar sny met 'n 90 grade hoekie. Okay, altitude. So that line in the middle will be an altitude. All right. Then the next one. 'n middel, kom ek skryf hom net daarby. Jy kan miskien vir die prentjie teken daarso, né? Maybe draw a little triangle there next to your notes so you can know what it looks like, né? Okay, done. Then the next one. A perpendicular bisector. The word tells you exactly what it does. Perpendicular meaning 90 degrees. Bisect means cut in half. Nee, Afrikaans, middel, loodlyn. Loodlyn beteken mos 90 grade, nee, loodreg, loodlyn. So 90 degrees. En dan middel, as ek in die middel is, beteken dit wat hierdie kant is en dit wat daai kant is presies dieselfde. So wys vir hy sny hom mooi in die helfte, né? So daar sê hulle, 'n middelloodlyn is loodreg op 'n lyn en halveer daardie lyn. Okay, so if I draw it here, net blurry mooi. So hy sny om 90 grade en hy halveer daai lyntjie. Nee. So that would be my perpendicular bisector. Maar ek dink hierheen is julle fyn mee. Middelloodlyn. Okay, any questions there? Right, then the next one. Die middel... ek het een uitgelos, sorry, hoogtelyn. Swaartelyn het ek uitgelos, ek wil nou net sê, waar is my derde ene? 'n swaartelyn, né? Partykeer praat hulle van mediaan, né? But in English they talk about median. And you will see, wie was dit nou, Jakob, jy het gesê, wat beteken dit? Jy het gepraat van altitude, né? So ek vir jou gaan lees die Afrikaans, dan gaan dit dalk beter, né? So, if you sometimes get stuck, go read, if you Afrikaans, go read the English. As jy Engels is, gaan lees gou die Afrikaans, né? Miskien gaan dit dan vir jou 'n klokkie lui oor wat dit is. Okay, so 'n swaartelyn of 'n mediaan halveer die basis van die driehoek. So ek moes hom nou eintlik daar aan die begin gehad het. So hy halveer hom net. Dis nie noodwendig met 'n 90 grade hoekie nie. Nee, eintlik moet ek hierdie man eintlik moet ek hom so klein bietjie skeef trek net om te wys hy hoef nie 90 te wees nie. Okay. Ja, okay. Median. Sorry, is baie lelik geskryf. Okay, right. So onthou, as hy net met 'n 90 grade hoekie sny, né? Dan noem ons dit 'n hoogtelyn, an altitude. If we don't know whether it cuts at 90, but it just cuts in half, we call it a median, né? 'n swaartelyn. As dit albei doen, loodreg sny en in die helfte sny, dan noem ons dit 'n middelloodlyn, perpendicular bisector. Okay. Right. Any questions? Goed, dan daai volgende tweetjies, die vergelyking van 'n sirkel met middelpunt. Julle het mos nie dit verlede jaar gedoen nie, né? So daai enetjie en die volgende enetjie is graad 12 werk, so we're going to get to that once we're done with this packet of revision, né? So, did all of you finish number 1, 2 and 3 of tot waar het julle gekom? Wie is nog nie by 3 nie? The formula for altitude, julle. Wat is altitude nou weer, Morgan? Ja, maar wat doen hy? Ja? So it cuts at a 90 degrees angle. No, it's the previous one. This one at the bottom. Altitude means that it cuts at a 90 degrees angle. And that's your clue. Want wat weet ek van twee lyne wat weer met 90 grade sny? Die gradiënte van hulle gee saam vir my -1 as ek hulle gaan maal, né? Okay, so gaan kyk na al daai goedjies. Okay, kan ons maar gou-gou. Julle sê nommer 1 is almal klaar? Put up your hand if you're not done with 2. Okay, right. Kom ons kyk gou-gou net dan nommer 1. As julle net aan die gang kyk. Alright, so number 1 says a triangle has vertices A, B, and C. Show that ABC is 90 degrees. Nou kyk gou-gou, die kappietjie is at B. Nee. So basically, I want the gradient of AB and the gradient of BC. Do you guys agree? Right. Right. Ek net my zoom. Onthou, julle kan die prentjie ook gaan teken, né? Ek sal hom nou nog gou vir julle teken na die tyd. But it sometimes helps if you just go jot down the coordinates, just to see it more or less, né? Okay, so gradient of AB. We want difference in y over difference in x. And that's going to give me minus a third. Right, then the gradient of BC. Will be difference in y, so 4 minus 1, over difference in x, 8 minus 7. People here, with gradient, when you work it out, nee, wat ook baie keer inkom, die focus is tekens. Especially when it was a negative number or negative value at x or y. Then you sometimes forget, then it's minus a number. Nee, so onthou daar, so dat jy nie daar fout maak nie. Okay, so over here I got my gradient is 3. Nou gaan jy sien, therefore, if I take the gradient of AB and I multiply it with the gradient of BC, that's going to be minus a third times 3. And how much does that give me? Minus 1. No. And because it gives me minus 1, I can say, therefore, AB will be perpendicular to BC. And because they're perpendicular, it means that angle B will be 90 degrees. Any questions there? Is julle reg? Okay, nou, kom ek trek hom net gou vir julle so min of meer. Hy's nie perfect nie, I'm just... Okay, so this was A. Oh, ek het hom nou 'n bietjie verkeerd omgeteken, maar toe. 8, 4. En C is 7. Okay, met ander woorde, daai is 90 grade. No, sorry, it doesn't look like it, but is julle reg? Okay, then at 1.2, by 1.2, vra hulle vir my, determine the area of the triangle. Now, because they asked me to work it out that it's 90 at the top, I know I could get half times base times perpendicular height. So, area is equal to half times base times perpendicular height. So, half times AB times BC. No. Okay, but have we got the distance of AB? Nee, so dan gaan ek my formule gaan gebruik vir afstand. Nee? Ek gaan nou my vierkantswortel insit. That's AB. Now I've got to get the distance of BC. Goed, en dit gaan vir my gee half times square root 90 times square root 10. Oeh, my plek is min. En dit gee vir my, kan julle ooit nog hieronder sien, kan ek maar hier skryf. 15 units squared. Nee, onthou, units squared because it's area. You guys good? Any questions? Hoe lyk dit so ver? Okay, good. Goed, nou vra hulle vir my, bepaal die vergelyking van die hoogtelyn deur B. Okay, meaning, if I go from B, I must draw an altitude, nee? So, is dat net 'n ander kleurlyntjie? Vanaf B, en wat beteken altitude? Hy moet sny met 'n 90 grade hoekie, nee? So from there, I'm going to draw a line onto there so that it forms a 90 degrees angle. You guys good? Kan ek maar gou skip? Ek dit net op die volgende bladsy skryf. Okay, now, if over here, it cuts at 90, nee, want dis mos wat ek weet van die hoogtelyn. What do I know? Die gradiënt van AC maal die gradiënt van daai lyn moet vir my gee minus 1. Nee. Okay, so I'm going to need a point here. Let's call that D. Is that all right? So ek gaan hom nou D maak. Sien, dis kom dit help as jy jou prentjie gaan teken, hè? Dan kan jy hom lekker visueel voorstel. Right, so we said the gradient, so 1.3, we need the gradient of AC. Right, then difference in y over difference in x would give me minus 3 over 4. Right. Okay, the gradient of BD would then be what? Omdat ek weet hy sny met 90 grade, it would be, opposite of that will be positive, switch it around, meaning it would be 4 over 3. Okay, is julle reg? Dadelik weet ek, hy gaan wees y is gelyk aan 4 op 3x plus c. Is jy nog reg? Onthou hulle vra vir my die vergelyking van daai hoogtelyn. So they want the equation of that straight line, right? Okay, so I've got my gradient. I now need c. Wat kan ek gaan doen hierso? Substitute in any point on that line. But the only point that we've got is V. Daar's hy. So nou gaan stel ek daarin. I'm going to substitute in if x is 8 and y is 4. Dan gaan ek kry C is minus 20 op 3. Right, so my final formula or equation for that line would be 4 over 3x minus 20 over 3. Right, any questions? Is julle reg? Okay, julle sê julle is nog besig met nommer 2, nee? Okay, let's have a look. Number 2 says, the straight line with equation 2x plus 3y minus 1 is equal to 0. Passes through the point t minus 2 minus 1. Determine the value of t. Okay, wat gaan ek gaan doen? Ja. Goed, so by my vergelyking, nee, I'm going to substitute in that coordinate. Instead of x, I'm going to put in t minus 2. And instead of y, I'm going to put in minus 1. Because by doing that, I will have my whole equation in terms of t. Nee. En dan kan ek mos gaan uitwerk wat sal t wees. Stem julle saam? Right. Doen gou-gou vir my. Want ons nog 'n paar van julle wat daar nog nie gedoen het nie. If you have done it, just carry on. People, we're going to go up until number 7, né? So moenie stop nie, jy gaan net aan.